Welcome back to another exclusive pod for the morning after. We are unfortunately going to be traveling for Labor Day weekend, so we're not going to be here for the Friday episode. That would be, I think, the 24th of June.
Sounds right.
So we're recording this on June 23rd, and we just want to give you guys a PLL preview for the season. We're really excited for the Premier Lacrosse League to be kicking off the week after this drops. But we're looking forward to it. We just want to talk through the week one lines are already out. The team futures are already out. The league futures are already out. So I wanted to talk through some stuff, get some opinions, make some bets. And I'll tell you right now, I want you to think about this draft with Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. And I want you to think about the draft with Victor Wembanyama in the NBA. That is what O'Neal is supposed to be. Just so everybody knows.
Okay.
When Brennan O'Neal was drafted, this was a unanimous number one overall pick going into the draft. That was like, this is the guy you draft to change the franchise. So keeping that in mind, somebody tell me why the kid that the Atlas took second overall, Connor Schellenberger from UVA, has the same odds to win Rookie of the Year as him.
Really?
That's like saying the girl that got picked second after Caitlin Clark has the same odds as her to win. I think there's not as big of a gap, obviously, in that scenario, but I'm taking the Atlas kid Connor because that's telling me that as much of a prodigy as we think Brennan O'Neal is in the lacrosse community, that this kid Connor is going to shock some people, and I couldn't be happier that he's on my team and has the same odds.
Schellenberger is just like a sniper, right?
Sniper.
So that could be why. He's scoring a lot of goals. O'Neal's more of like an all-around guy, right? If I'm correct, yeah.
And
So
you're putting Connor in an offense with Jeff T, who, by the way, might as well be Rajon Rondo with the ball.
Yeah.
In terms of his ability to dish the rock. Xander Dixon, who now is going to garner a little bit more attention because he showed that last year he can score the rock at a crazy clip. And on top of all that, you get probably the best scorer in all of college lacrosse to just fit in that line.
Yeah.
And go crazy one time. Like, give me plus 250.
Aren't they all UVA guys? Or they have like a line that's all UVA
Jeff T
guys,
was
right?
Cornell.
But they have like a line, like three guys. I remember seeing
Xander's UVA, Connor's UVA.
There's someone else.
There's definitely someone else that I'm blanking on right now.
But still, they got the UVA.
But yeah, they got a bunch of. We drafted that
kid
kid from Syracuse. It's bald, which I hate having bald guys on my team. I don't know why. That's just like a thing I got.
For the lacrosse casuals like myself that are just getting in, maybe new to the sport, how much disparity is there between the best guys and like middle of the road guys?
I think there's a pretty big disparity.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like the league as a whole, like there's those guys that are in that upper echelon that are just like, you need them.
Yeah.
And they're going to change the franchise. Brennan O'Neal's one of these guys. Schellenberger wasn't supposed to be till the draft got like a day out and they were like, oh, we might take Connor first overall. And then they're like, okay, we'll just go with Brennan. But I think there's a very large disparity. But I think this draft is one of the more loaded because you get a Pat Cavanaugh as well that I think in any other draft probably goes 1A. Just because of the grit he's got, what he brings to your roster, what he brings to the team. But the fact you're telling me that Connor's plus 250 with basically the lacrosse Jesus that was coming out of the draft this year, like, give me the Atlas kid. I get to root for him all year. I get plus 250 on him. Like, why not, dude?
Yeah.
Root for your guy.
I like that.
He might not be the favorite overall.
I agree. I also want to talk about the team futures as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Atlas to win it all this year, plus 600.
Okay.
If this kid Liam Entenmann, and obviously that's kind of a homer take, but I'm going to tell you why I'm doing it. If this kid Liam Entenmann is the person that we think he is and the Great Wall of China that we hope he is, the only problem with the Atlas last year was we had a fucking piece of Swiss cheese in the net.
Yeah.
And we'd be up 6 goals and lose because we didn't have any defense. We didn't have anyone behind the pipes. Now we got Adler coming back, McCarr coming back, getting their second year under their belts. They were both all-stars. And now we're adding a goalie that's supposed to be the next Great Wall. Like, and we added the best scorer in college lacrosse, already having the best offense in the PLL. Like, I think we're going to be able to dance with anyone now because our problem was we could score 30 goals, but we lose 30 to 33. We lose 30 to 35 because we were just incapable of stopping any sort of attack. Now you're telling me we get the Great Wall in his rookie year, and we got 2 all-star defensemen coming back. Like, plus 600, I think that's great value for an Atlas team that already had the pieces for the past few years that people were like, they should probably be competing and winning a championship, but the defense and the goalie ended up being a problem. I feel like we shored both those positions up and added another weapon to an already top 2 offense in the league.
Yeah.
And I'll read off
600
the overall odds here. 8 teams in the PLL, if you don't know. Utah Archers, defending champs, plus 480 to repeat. Philadelphia Water Dogs, also plus 480. Cannons, Boston Cannons plus 500, Maryland Whipsnakes plus 550, New York Atlas, like Mike mentioned, plus 650 on the Blue Book, Denver Outlaws plus 750, Carolina Chaos plus 850, California Redwoods also plus 850. So pretty close.
Pretty close.
I mean, you can get that, like you said, you can get that value on the Atlas. You get value on really any of these teams. I think the bottom three probably are out in the Outlaws, the Chaos, the Redwoods, but the top 6, I mean, any one of those, or the top 5, any one of those probably.
I feel like in the PLL, correct me if I'm wrong, last year, I feel like there's always one team that's supposed to be so bad that ends up just performing really well for no reason. Wasn't that the Cannons last year? Like they were supposed to be awful, and they just like came out and they were like, "Holy shit, this team might be the best team in the league."
100%.
Right? I mean, I wouldn't.
You're getting good value on the Cannons too.
Also, the Redwoods, like they're plus. You're giving a team in an 8-team league plus 950 to win a championship. Like that's
is that on the Green Book?
Crazy.
That's on the Green Book, yeah.
Plus 950 on here.
And I will say the Redwoods are kind of mushy.
No, I know,
but I agree.
But we thought the same thing about the Cannons last year, right? It's like, I mean, you could be looking at this line halfway through the season. They could be plus 400. You never know.
And their win total this year is 3.5, minus 140.
Wow. How many games? 7?
I think so. Yeah, I believe. No, there's got to be more than that. Why can't I remember how many games there are in the PLL? Why is that something that I'm
I'll check we can do a little check of the schedule. But interesting too. First year that the PLL is having city affiliated team. So usually the teams, I mean, they still travel in packs each weekend. All the teams playing a different city, starting in Albany next week, up in New York. But first year that the cities are affiliated with the teams, which that's kind of cool as the PLL kind of.
Well, it's going to be interesting too, right? Because they're still doing what I call, not calling the league this, but the traveling circus method, where you go to every city, every team plays. But now, if your team is playing in your city, they play both days.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to try to bet on that. And coming from that angle is like
home field advantage.
How exhausted are they going to be though in that second game?
Yeah,
like you might be
playing the second game. Yeah,
you might be giving every team an auto loss because they got to play 2 days in a row, and that's a lot too. When you think about lacrosse, it's like hockey, dude. Like you're running full speed, and when you grow up, you can play 3 games, 4 games at a tournament. But at this level, at this speed, you might be able to auto fade second game, whatever the home team is, because dude, that kind of exhaustion. You're playing a team that's revved up, ready to go, and you just came off a hard game. What I'm going to assume, you might just be handing a team a loss every single home game.
How big are injuries in lacrosse?
It's a lot of muscular, like hamstrings, calves, shoulders. Like rarely will you see the contact injuries in football, and I think the contact injuries that you see in hockey, but because it's constant moving like that, you get a lot of muscular injuries. Like we had a couple guys with hamstrings, definitely some backs, but make no mistake, like it is a physical sport, and you could sprain a wrist, you could break a hand, you could break a finger, but it's a lot of muscular stuff.
Reminds me like hockey injuries, kind of, right? Like,
100%.
Like getting slashed and like ankle, or I mean, not in the ankle in lacrosse, but wrist in lacrosse.
10 weeks in the PLL season. 10 weeks in the PLL season, not including All-Star Week, and then 3 rounds of playoffs. So yeah, I mean, you got a full summer of.
And I'm gonna take the Atlas win total over 4.5 and minus 125. Like as an Atlas fan, it's tough to not be a homer and bet them every single way. But I just really like, now that I look at our roster and I thought about it last night, and I just as a side note, I think about a lot of stuff, like weird stuff at night. Like if I see like a lacrosse highlight, I'll be like, okay, like how good do you think the Atlas really are? And then I'll see a commercial, I'll be like, okay, like are hot fries better than the Cheetos? Like these are things that I think about all the time.
Yeah.
And I had a thought, and I was like, because I started to look at the lines a little bit because I wanted to do this pod today. But you're telling me that an Atlas team, like I'm not even kidding. This is like the way I'm equating it is you're giving the Oilers Bobrovsky. You're giving the Oilers playoff Bob. In my head, the way that we're talking about Liam Entenmann, the articles that I've read about him, the highlights that I've watched with this Notre Dame team, you're giving the Oilers, who have a McDavid, a Draisaitl. I'm going to say Jeff Teat, Xander Dixon, and Connor Schellenberger probably playing that Draisaitl. Jeff Teat is literally Connor McDavid. He's a favorite to be the MVP in the league again. You're giving the Oilers a playoff Bob.
Yeah.
That I feel is so dangerous to me.
Scary.
I feel like you're giving, again, just to make another example out of it, I feel as though it's almost like giving the Jets a good offensive line.
Yeah.
Like you're now bringing protection in an area that has just killed us for the past 3 years. And you're giving us the best option is what we're saying in the past 5-10 years.
Yeah. And Paul was super high on that kid too.
Which, we're going to drop an interview with Paul Rabel coming up here in a little bit.
Monday.
But Paul Rabel couldn't have been higher on him because I tried to poke at him a little bit. I was like, just tell me about Liam. And he was like, dude, this kid's the real fucking deal. And I feel like he would have been brutally honest if he wanted to be.
Didn't he like literally compared him to like a generational goalie in lacrosse? He was like, I forgot what his name was, but he said he's like the best goalie the last like 15 years. Like not even close.
So you're telling me we can't get 5 wins? And I know that's been a category the Atlas have struggled in, almost finished dead last year, but 5 wins was shoring up a position that was so needed, and that makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Like I love that. And minus 125 too, that's phenomenal value.
Has your opinion changed of drafting him over Kavanaugh at this point, leading into the season, now that you've had a couple weeks to digest after the draft?
No. I mean, I still want to Pat Kavanaugh. That's just like the dumbest fucking brain dead move of all time if this kid Liam ends up sucking. But again, looking at it from if I were to turn on a GM brain, let's say the Atlas are like, okay, you're the GM, you have to remove your fandom. It's a great pick if this kid is as good as he says he is, because we already signed 2 goalies in the offseason.
Sure. Yeah.
So you're adding him to a room with 2 goalies that you already probably made commitments of being like, you're probably going to be our guy. Now he's got to beat 2 guys out in camp because you can't give him the job right away because we just signed 2 goalies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, you're putting him in a weird situation, but if he ends up being who we say he is, it's going to be a phenomenal pick because it really helps us make the difference. When I look at win totals, he makes the difference.
Yeah.
When I look at us winning the championship, he makes a difference. So if he doesn't come in and immediately move that needle, we're chalked out as it is.
There's not a lot of meat on the bones on many of these win totals. There is meat on the bone if you want some value on 8+ regular season wins. Do you think any team gets 8+ in a 10 game or a 10 weekend series?
It would have to be the Water Dogs or the Archers. Right?
I mean, look, you're looking at
plus 800 on the Archers, plus 900 on the Water Dogs. So
what are
10 weeks?
What are the Cannons?
The Cans are plus 1,300. So
I
8
feel
or
like,
more.
dude, they could win 8 games. Like, that's a team that last year shocked so many people, and adding Pat Kavanaugh, like, they're a gritty team. Asher Nolting is fucking phenomenal. Marcus Holman is fucking phenomenal. Like, you added a kid that's just so fucking gritty to the grittiest team in the league. I could see them just punishing people.
So let me ask you this, though, too, because there's 10 weekends that they play, right? And the home teams and the cities play twice. So is it actually 12 games or is it 11 games then?
I think it's going to be 11 games. I don't know how it's going to work now. That's why I'm confused.
I bet it's 10 games, and they'll give some teams a weekend off. That would be my assumption. That would make sense.
So you play twice and then you won't have enough.
Well, because if one team's playing twice,
maybe you get
you're missing
week.
It. You definitely
I
have to get a bye week.
You
can't. That's not even possible. Like you can't. If one team's playing twice and they're playing different teams, you can't do that. There's only one team playing twice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because then that's essentially there's 8 teams. Then essentially there's 9 teams. There's not enough matchups.
That's true. I should have looked into this more, but I think the Cannons are going to be a great pick for that. Like if you want some sneak, like that stuff, I feel like you can take some Hail Marys. Yeah. The Cannons could win 8.
Yep.
The Water Dogs could win 8. Dude. I think the Atlas could win 8. Like I really do think we're going to be a retooled team this year. Like Miles Jones back, the midfield is kind of a problem, but our attack and defense are so short up that you still have Terry Baptiste, the best fucking face-off guy on the planet, which hurts you now as a team, which is annoying. Yeah. But Sneaky Josh now.
I'm kind of scared that, well, not scared. I'm kind of sad that you just said the Cannons to win it because my play was going to be fading them.
But that's good value too. Though.
Well, I want to take them not to make I assume 4 teams make the playoffs. Not
6.
To make 6 teams make the playoffs.
That's why everyone's minus 200.
That's why it's all. That's why I was saying there's not a whole lot of value on yes or no to make the playoffs.
Well, give me plus 320 now. For the Boston,
because they're telling you the Redwoods and the Chaos aren't making the playoffs. Just so you know,
yeah,
correct.
That's what they're saying. Telling you right now. Yeah.
I think one of those teams overperformed, like last year, like the Cannons did. I think the Cannons might be the team that everyone thought they were.
I don't disagree,
even though I don't know shit about lacrosse.
I don't disagree, dude. I also think just as like some sneak value, I could totally see Asher Nolting winning MVP this year from the Cannons, though, plus 2,500 after his last year. I could see him coming in and shocking some people, getting some sneak value on him to be an MVP. A fully healthy Josh Byrne on the Chaos could be an MVP candidate as well. I think Jeff Teet's never a bad shout. The fact that you're telling me the rookie of the year in Connor Schellenberger is tied with the second coming of Jesus with Brennan O'Neill and Jeff Teet's favorite of the MVP, the books are telling me the Atlas are going to have a fucking year.
Yeah.
Which is good. I like that.
They're both on there for MVP too. They're plus 4,000 massive odds, but
which I love.
O'Neill and Schellenberger.
I love that so much, dude. I do want to talk about week 1 lines a little bit if we're cool with that. Just like a look ahead, and then we'll wrap this up because I like when these pods are a little shorter. I'm going to give you guys my card right now. I think you take the over in the Water Dogs in game 1. You're getting the rain. It's a championship matchup again, and I feel like week 1 the games are always a little bit loose. I think it takes teams a little bit longer to get going. But I think that affects defense more than offense because it's easier to get your offensive flow going than your defensive rotations. So I love that over. 2 of the best offenses in the fucking sport. And I'll take the Water Dogs in a revenge spot. I just love Michael Sowers. I don't want to fade him. The Atlas plus 1.5. The plus 1.5 bet in the PLL has been the best bet to date since the league fucking started. And I never bet it. And now I get my team playing the Cannons, who I'm kind of high on as a pod in general. And I like, if they give it to me, which they were giving it to me a little bit last year, the Atlas team total, it's not out yet, but I like that as well. So give me the Atlas plus 1.5 and the Atlas team total. I also don't mind a sprinkle on our money line. Let's see how we come out.
Yeah.
Let's see how we come
Yeah,
out.
I guess sprinkle.
Carolina Chaos Outlaws is the most disgusting game on the board. I'm not even going to bet it. And then because it's a back-to-back, why don't you go ahead and just give me the Atlas plus 1.5 again? Not touching anything else in that game against the Whip Snakes other than that plus 1.5. It's the best bet in lacrosse. I can get my team twice at that value. Let's see how we do. If we don't cover it the first game, I guarantee we cover it the second game. And I think you split 1-1.
Well, also there is a bye because the Redwoods aren't playing week.
Yeah, Redwoods get the bye week 1. So it's one bye.
Okay.
So the Atlas, since it's their home state, New York, playing twice, Redwoods on the bye, everybody else plays once.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Which definitely makes sense.
Dude, I like the over in the second game of the Atlas game.
That I don't
Or
mind.
second Atlas game.
Yeah,
they
get
play
your
the Whip
legs
Snakes.
under you.
I think that like they get their legs under them. I also think that if they're a little tired, the Whip Snakes will be able to score
A lot.
I think
If Liam
Atlas might get a
sucks.
little desperate if they go down early.
Yeah, you're getting over minus 122 in the second Atlas game, over plus 100 in the first Atlas game.
Yeah.
So
I'm liking this.
Maybe a little bit better, more of a sure bet. I'm only betting overs. I'm
this,
taking a
dude.
Mikey Overs
Yeah.
approach here in the
Yeah,
PLL
dude.
and only ever betting overs.
Because they're electric, dude. Like,
Yeah,
just for
like-
anyone that's listening, if you're just getting into the sport, betting a lacrosse over is fun, dude.
Dude, and there's a shot clock for those of you that don't know. Like
2-point shots.
Yeah, like they have to rip fast.
They
It's
have
so
to
fun.
rip puck.
Very
I used to not
quick.
watch at all. Like I thought that it was going to be so boring. It is so fun to watch.
Dude, it gets you into it.
So
I'll tell you
fun.
what, it
Especially
gets
when
you
you're
into it.
getting down to the wire. When they came to Dallas last season, we had a bet of over 100 goals.
That
over-
was
over
such a sweat.
2
Yeah.
days
dude.
between the 4 games that
That was such a
happened, and it
sweat.
came down. I think it hit. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it did.
It hit on the 4th game. Man, that was
Because they're all like at 25 usually.
the
like,
first
right
day,
around there.
though. It was a little underscoring. They were not on pace the first day, and the second day they came in. And I think that third game is when I think it was the Archers, the defending champs, came in and just annihilated.
And that was another
It was
classic Atlas
super
sell
high.
job. We had a
Yeah.
lead early and fucking
Yeah.
melted because our goalie sucked wiener. And I think we forced him into retirement. Thank God. Concannon, I'm not going to lie, he might be working at a State Farm. So anyone that's listening to this, if you find Concannon at a local State Farm, you let me know because that could be a sharp bet on where he works now.
I mean, Krabs, if you haven't watched the PLL vlog yet from New York for street lacrosse, go check it out. Krabs might be making his name as a
Should
goalie
be.
here.
The Blaze
Coming soon.
Reardon comp and then getting absolutely pieced up by a Sisselberger who's like not a scorer is like
in a
all-time
goal that
fun.
was a foot tall.
It's just like
him up like
all
right in
time
front of
fun.
him and just like Krabs.
Oh my god, dude, that
fucking
was so
buckle.
bad.
Oh, that was so good.
No, literally, it's like actually hysterical. Yeah, if you guys haven't go watch it on the Bookit YouTube now. I'm looking forward to the PLL season now. I'm gonna lock all those bets
fun.
in. I'm gonna make a call to the buddies back home, or actually I'm gonna be able to do it when I'm home.
Let's go.
So I'm going home this week for Memorial Day weekend. Do you guys have any
Yeah.
plans you want to talk about?
I'm going to
Ooh.
Vegas. I'm playing some golf with my dad. We're playing in a little member tournament there.
Nice. There
Have you
it
met
is.
Josh's dad?
I have met Josh's
Funny
dad.
guy.
Yeah, funny guy. Funny guy here. He's
funny
an
guy.
incredible golfer.
Funny
I am
guy.
not doing anything. I've been saving up my coins. I got this golf trip coming up in August. That's going.
Ooh.
We're going to Pinehurst.
Wow.
And playing like 5 of the top 50 courses in North Carolina or in the United States that are in North Carolina. So that one's going to cost me a pretty penny. So nothing this Memorial Day weekend. Just saving the coins.
Let's go.
Money in the bank. That's fun. I want to do a golf trip with my buddy too. We were
Yeah.
talking about it. It's like I'm not a big play 36 holes a day guy, but apparently if
Yeah.
you go on a golf trip, you got to play 36 holes, and then maybe 18 on the last day, which I feel like if it's at a resort, I'm down because I don't want to
Yeah.
have to drive to courses,
Correct.
drink, then have to figure out how to get home.
Figure out,
Like
okay, yeah.
if it's just on a resort, I don't mind
We
playing
have-
36 holes a day and just getting by the 36 hole being just
We have
spare parts.
We have a
Go.
dope Airbnb on Pinehurst
Yeah, see,
number
that's
2
sick.
on the golf course. And we're playing like 18, 36, 18, then going to the PGA tournament because they're in Greensboro on Saturday
Wow,
and Sunday.
what a trip
That's
out of
sick.
Nick.
So yeah, it's like the
Didn't
11th.
expect that out of Nick.
Sick.
What a trip.
Twelve-
I'm doing the
12th
same
year,
thing in
12th
July.
year,
I'm
yeah.
pumped for it. I've
Yeah,
never
you're
been on
going
a
to
trip like
Hilton
that.
Head.
Hilton Head, yeah.
Are you going with just buddies or your dad?
Yeah,
or?
all my buddies, yeah. There's like
Wow.
24 of us going. It's gonna be
Holy
fucking
shit.
wild. All in one house. It's
Might get
gonna
a
be-
Josh mugshot.
Yeah, there's
on
only
that
there's
weekend,
only
dude.
6 of us. This is
Yeah.
our 12th year doing this. We've been
Yeah.
doing it since college, and most of my buddies have kids now, so it's a little more low key than
Yeah.
what Josh he's going to be doing
Yeah.
probably.
We might get a Josh mugshot.
We might get a
We
Josh
might.
mugshot.
24 of the boys.
I've heard that Hilton Head, like, there's not really that much to like do. Like the bars there aren't like crazy. It's like more of like a family
No,
town.
yeah.
So like,
It's fun.
Probably won't be doing
but you'll
too
get
much
mixing
like
on the
that.
course and hit a couple bars, get a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
vodka sodas with the kids. That'll
Yeah,
be fun,
for
dude.
sure.
I
That'll
want
be
to
a
see the
great
Hilton
fucking
Head
time.
police just Josh
Yeah.
face down and
Josh.
go, hey, Josh,
Scotty.
if you get arrested, you don't lose your job here at Bookit Sport.
Yeah, honestly,
it doesn't
like,
really matter.
what a company to be able to get a mugshot
Yeah.
because we would just put it on T-shirts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So,
Maybe
I'll intentionally
Yeah,
get
I was about to
arrested.
say,
as
maybe
long
just,
as
like,
you
get a
don't,
mugshot for something funny, though.
kill,
Yeah.
maim, sexually assault anybody, you're pretty safe.
Yeah, just mugshot would be funny. Public intoxication mugshot would make my year.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
I'll
would
try
make
my
that would
best.
make year.
I'll try my best.
That would make year. That would make year. I'm going to the Jersey Shore. Dude.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
I'm
go.
fucking.
You might
juiced
get a
up.
mugshot.
Dude, I might get a
Yeah,
mugshot. for
that's-
sure.
No idea what happened,
What
but
the fuck was that?
Oh, is there
Trent
day
just
baseball on? Trent just
screaming.
literally splashed
yeah,
downstairs.
definitely
Yeah,
nerfy.
day baseball on.
Definitely.
But
Day
I'm going
was
down to the
something.
Jersey Shore. Gonna hit some bars. Gonna get weird. I think it's gonna be so much fun, dude. I miss every time I go to the Jersey Shore during the summertime. It's like, fuck, man. I wish I lived out here. But it's just like such a good time.
I really want to visit up there over the
Dude,
summer.
we
one
gotta
time up on
we
the
gotta do a
Jersey Shore.
Bookit trip
Yeah.
at some
Have you
point.
been to the house? Like seen it? The Jersey Shore house?
Yeah,
You
dude.
have?
It's like it's in Seaside. I'm in a town that's 30 minutes north of that,
Mhm.
and like you can literally. We almost rented it for my prom house. You can rent it for your prom
That's
house,
so
and like
sick.
comes with like the duck phone
That's
and shit.
electric.
We ended up renting like some crappy like 2-floor house in Seaside for my post prom party, and it was like just gross.
Grimy.
Yeah, it
Ratchet.
was so nasty. I didn't shower for 2 days. It was just nasty. Dude. Nasty.
Yummy.
Because we're on the Jersey Shore, you just go to the ocean
Yeah,
and come back to the house,
Wow.
start drinking booze and fuck. It was nasty. Ended up throwing up all over the stairs. Shout out whoever had to pay for that one because I did not throw any money in for the damages. But I'm so excited going down the Jersey Shore. Should be a good time. And also the Jersey Shore just reeks of lacrosse for me because every time I'm down there, the PLL season starts. So I always get down there and I get like grimy wanting to watch lacrosse. But looking forward to it. Girlfriend's first time visiting the Jersey Shore too. So I'm going to see what she thinks of it. But it's going to be like 65, 70. And I know she was a little upset about that. She was like, it's going to be cold, but that's just like Jersey weather during the summer.
Yeah, it's a little chillier.
Perfect.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like you're not going in the water. I mean,
Yeah.
if you do, I mean, great. But like,
I think she's going to be pleasantly surprised.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's how it was when we lived in Newport. It was always like 70, and Trent's jumping in the Pacific Ocean. That's freaking
Frozen.
Yeah.
Frozen,
minus
dude.
20 degrees.
Pacific Ocean's too cold, man. I had to do that for a bit one time. It was
crazy.
too
Yeah,
cold.
you did.
Yeah, it's too
No,
cold,
you did
dude.
you had to do that was Gulf of Mexico.
No, I before Bookit.
Oh.
It
I
was like
gonna say
if
Corpus
Duke doesn't
Christi.
come back, I'll jump in the
Nice.
Pacific Ocean, like literally, and it's cold, and it was so like I was literally like,
Yes.
oh my god. But yeah, all right.
things you do for content.
Gave everybody some PLL preview. We're obviously going to do a lot of it on the show. We're going to do a lot of Bookit content coming up. But just wanted to give everyone a little taste of it before the season starts. We're going to push it and then push it again. Thank you guys for tuning into these. We really appreciate it. Make sure you tune in the morning after. We do it every weekday, 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We appreciate you guys as always.
Peace.
Peace.